Welcome. Thank you for coming. Please subscribe and like for more stories. Have a great day, and even better tomorrow. Smile. Teachers who matched with one of their students on Tinder. What's your story? I unmatched with them as soon as I realized who it was. We still had a month left in the semester, and she never brought it up. I teach in higher ed, so it's legal, but definitely not worth the headaches and professional fallout it could potentially cause. My roommate unknowingly matched with a guy who had just graduated from the school where I taught. It was a kind of funny passing comment of, "Oh, I matched with a guy who graduated from X school." We both assumed that it wouldn't be one of my students because I taught sophomores for the most part, and this kid was a graduated senior, so we figured it was a funny coincidence rather than weird. She invited him over to our place to hang out. He walked in and introduced himself before he and my roommate went to hang out in her room and watch a movie. I had to text my roommate that the kid had obviously lied about something because A, he was current senior, not a graduated one, and B, I would had him as a student in my newspaper class. Turned out he lied about his age, said he was 19, and pretended that he didn't know me despite the fact he had class with me. Nice kid, but he never got invited around again. Oh damn, this just happened to a regular at my local. We are there having drinks, as we often do, and he starts telling me that he matched with his 8th grade English teacher, who was 24 when he was 13. Not a crazy age difference. So they chatted, and laughed about the coincidence, and how weird it was. But they ended up talking for hours about life, how they're both divorced, decided what the hell, and agreed to meet at our bar. That night, she was there like an hour later. She seemed super fun, and looked great for 46. They sat next to me, and my wife, and we all had fun talking. But then they moved to a booth to be alone. 90 minutes, and good amount of shots later, they are kissing in the booth. About 10 minutes later, they are paying their tab, and ordering a car to the nearest bedroom. It's been about 3 weeks, and they are still hanging out. They really like each other. It's kinda creepy, but sweet. He seems happier than usual. I once drunk splurged on Tinder Gold, or whatever the F it's called, and noticed my current intern had swiped right on me. Yeah, I had to ignore that one for a while. All the while keeping that secret for the rest of semester. Awkward at first, but once I got over the fact I was homeschooled, we went back to our place for extra credit. I'm a resident, and I've matched with a few medical students, but so far none of them have been under me in their rotations. I went on a date a couple weeks ago with a former student. I was an adjunct professor, and she was in my class. I thought she was cute, and I had a suspicion she was queer too, but obviously wasn't going to do anything while I was teaching. When she came up on Tinder, I'm no longer teaching university, I swiped right, and we matched. She is only a couple years younger than me though, and the class was a couple years ago. We're hopefully going out again soon, and we'll see what happens. Macron__/Macron. I matched with one of my online professors last semester. He has a unique name, and once I realized who he was I unmatched. Even if it's legal, and at our ages, it would be. It's still a small town, and I didn't want to bring the drama on us. I matched with a teacher when I was 27, and she was 76. She said I knew you'd make it at least this far then unmatched me. Edit. This blew up, and for anyone wondering I found out it was a prank that my friend and my brother was pulling on me, and most of you are right. My brother changed my age range, which I didn't know was possible, to only 55 plus, and they made an account the teacher account. Sorry to disappoint, but yeah. You guys are getting matches? I teach university. A year or so after the end of the class she took under me she pops up, and laughed. I thought there'd be no way she yesed me so I swiped right for giggles. Instant match. I couldn't believe it. Turns out she wanted to hook up the whole time, but didn't want to open that can of worms. So we went on a date, and she was by far the worst F of my life. Animal in bed? Oh yeah. Starfish. My youngest brother, 24, matched up with a seemingly nice girl on Tinder. They started dating afterwards. She was a probation officer for the county, and had been doing it for a few years. My brother was, and is currently on probation for arson. They were together for about 6 months when they came to dinner at my place, during which I asked her about her job. She told me she is a probation officer. I then asked her if them being together is a problem since he is on probation. She froze for a good minute, then said she didn't know that he was on probation. The rest of dinner was awkward. Couple weeks later when talking to my brother he told me that she decided to stay with him, even though it was against the rules for her job. I guess she was hoping they would never find out. But they did. Less than a week later. She got fired, and will probably never work in that field again. My brother broke up with her the next month. He had the nerve to tell me that he broke up with her because she was being lazy, had no money, and was depressed a lot. I told him he was a giant freaking scumbag. I don't think he even understood why she was depressed. He did not feel bad at all, and didn't think he was to blame. Even a little bit. He is a big piece of crap. I unmatched us as soon as the notification came in, and realized who it was. Way before Tinder, we had a HS teacher, an way older male who taught math, have an affair with a female student. She was a senior that turned 18 at the end of the school year, but they had been together over a year. He and his wife divorced, and he married the 18-year-old. He was allowed to keep teaching, and when she graduated college she was hired as a teacher in the same school in his department. Of course this was in the late 1970s, and I graduated in 1982, but I had them both as teachers. Not Tinder, but teacher related. I had a friend who was up for anything, flirted with everyone, hooked up with anyone. Give him a dare, and he'd do it before you finished talking, full of crazy ideas, and no limits. Any girl could walk up to him, and kiss him out of the blue, and he'd be on board immediately. Lots of fun, and we all assumed there would be nothing he'd say no to, until one night we all walked into a bar in our early 20s, and a girl danced up to him for some close quarters work. Without a pause he immediately turned around, handed his full drink to a stranger, said we're leaving, and walked out without turning around to see if we were behind him. After about half a block of fast walking he told us she had been a student of his last year, and still attended his school. He teaches grade 10 math. Even though drinking age is only 19 here, she obviously got in with fake ID. One of the group made a joke about him getting so freaked out because he must have been in trouble for hooking up with a student before. In the lecture he rounded on him about taking advantage of kids sexually when you're in a position of authority, made it clear that he wasn't scared of repercussions. It was his limit, the one thing he wouldn't do, ever. Nice try, PTA. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories delivered to you. Thanks for listening. See you later.